What's up, everybody? I'm Justin Wright, and I today am going to start. I think I'm going to do this in a one, 2, or 3 parts series, so that way it's not so long and not so grueling and dragging on. So, this I want to talk about is alcohol and alcoholism and how it has affected me, how it has impacted my life, and how recovery is going. So, first and foremost, I'm Justin Wright. I am an alcoholic. I have been since I was probably 14 years old. That's about when I started drinking. Not consistently, but enough to where I was like, okay, I like this. This is a cool feeling. I like what it does for me, and I like what it does for my confidence, my brain, all that kind of stuff. So, first and foremost, I started drinking when I was about 14. I drink, a couple times a week, probably here and there with friends. Their parents had it. I would try a beer here, try a beer there, a shot here, kind of stuff. So it was very at the beginning, if you will. When I was about 15 and 16 years old, I started driving. That became a very heavy point for me. I really started to like it. I had my own job. I had my own vehicle. I had more access to getting it and getting it from people and buying it without my parents knowing. I would probably drink at that age probably every weekend or every other weekend. So it wasn't all the time, but it was enough to be an issue. Obviously, I was 15 or 16 years old. It's crazy how fast and how much it helped me. In a sense of feeling like I could do whatever I want. I drank and started feeling the feels of like not feeling emotion. I felt like I could do anything. I felt confident. I felt like I was on top of the world. I felt like nothing could stop me. And I loved who I was when I drank. And I feel like more people loved me who I was when I drank too, because I was more easygoing, outgoing, more fun, more carefree, more daring, more just more lively, I guess you could say. The reason why I would drink kind of stemmed from a lot of things. As some of you may or may not know, I was adopted when I was about 3 by my dad now. My biological dad was out of the picture. He gave up rights to us when we were very young. So I always have felt the feel of rejection from a very young age, which sucked. Especially it being your own dad. As a boy, I just wanted my dad to be there, to love me, to accept me. And I don't feel like I was really impacted emotionally when I was a kid because of this. But when I was 12, my sister took me to a concert. And I think this is the part that really changed my life and why alcohol became such a thing, because I was trying so hard to just numb the feelings that I had. So when I was 12, I went to a concert with my sister, and I had never seen or remember my biological dad. And at the moment I walked up to him, whatever, he was very standoffish, kind of. And then the conversation only lasted a few minutes, and then I had to go to the bathroom. And I remember walking away and hearing him say, I don't remember exactly what the words were or what was said, but something along the lines of, "Oh, that's my son. He's so ugly. I don't know, how that's my kid." I don't tell very many people that. I feel like, though, that was the turning point. Like I said, that was when I was 12. 14 is when I kind of started experimenting with alcohol and turning to it to help numb how I felt. It was very hard as a boy to not have his dad's support or anything like that. When I was young, he gave us up, me and my sisters. And then I was adopted by my now dad that has been my dad since I was like 2 or 3, I believe. Was definitely that moment that I heard him say that about me was a turning point for me. Things went downhill. I was already self-conscious because I was a very skinny kid. I didn't work out. I was rail skinny. Like, I probably couldn't even do a push-up at 14. Fast forward to, like I said, we were going through 15, 16. I started to get more experimenting. I would drink more than, maybe like every weekend at this point. And then, I started getting people that would buy it for me very easily. I could almost call them and say, hey, could you buy it? And they'd buy it for me almost that same day. So the addiction slowly became quicker. It slowly became out of hand quicker and quicker and quicker. But it was hard because, like in high school, fast forward a little bit, go to high school. When I was in high school, senior year, whatever, everybody knew me as the water bottle kid, meaning I had a water bottle with me all the time, and it was filled with vodka. Dead ass serious. I would carry it around. I would take it to law enforcement class. I would take it to gym. I would take it to English. I would take it to math. I would take it with me everywhere. I literally didn't function without it. I could function actually so much better when I would drink than I would if I wasn't drinking. Of course, after I graduated, it was kind of more apparent at that point. I drank all the time. I drank weekly, daily almost at that point. I would go through, a fifth vodka probably every 2 days. I would have to start buying the gallon vodkas because it would go so fast. And I was going to having someone go to the liquor store for me like twice a week. The crazy thing about it all is how quickly it was like normalized. So when I became 18, 19, drinking for me was almost like everybody was doing it. I was one of the younger kids that I knew friends-wise, and so we were all starting to be 21. It was easier to get, it was more acceptable, so the drinking just kind of kept going and getting worse and getting worse and getting worse. Like I would literally do so many things to have friends buy it for me, get it for me. I would trade things for it, or give them stuff or whatever to have people buy it, because it was such almost like I couldn't go on about my day without it. I didn't know who Justin was anymore. I forgot who I was. I forgot how to have fun without it. I didn't think people liked me because when I would drink, I wasn't that fun, energetic, high energy type of fun guy. Like I was kind of down, I was kind of blah, I was kind of, self-conscious. So when I would drink, it would make me be this great person. So many people loved me. So many people wanted to be my friend. I wasn't scared to talk to girls, ask for phone numbers, be flirty, if you will. I just didn't care, and I loved the carefree part about it. Sarah and I started dating when I was 19. And we drank. She had never drank before she met me. So we drank for a few years pretty heavily. We would have beer pong tournaments. We would have fun. We would have, drinking nights, people over. We were the fun couple. We were the cool couple to hang out with. And yeah, at that time, I wouldn't say that it was as bad as it was, or as bad as it got, I should say. It was more of just the tipping of the iceberg at that point. I didn't really have much alcohol influence when I was a kid. I didn't see it around. My parents didn't drink or anything like that. So for me, it was like, ooh, I'm doing something bad. I'm doing something, against the grain. I'm going against what has been taught to me. I feel like a rebel. I feel like such a badass about it all. And it's crazy how fast something, healthy or not, can consume you. Especially when it gives you the feeling that you've been chasing your whole life. For me, I feel, digging deep through all of this, I feel like acceptance has been a huge driving force for many decisions, drinking, many things. I didn't feel like I was ever accepted. And whenever I look back and people ask me, well, when was the turning point? The story when I was 12 with my dad is the one that sticks out to me. So fast forward now until I'm like 20, 22, 23, things started going really downhill at this point. Sarah and I were living together. We were engaged at this point. And she'd always been like, you need to slow down, we need to stop. So we stopped drinking. We went just to beer. We went, to only drinking on the weekends. We tried so many things that unfortunately just don't work. They don't work with recovery. So I would start, I would pay a credit card off and then go turn around and charge it and buy all the alcohol. And then we would have no money for food. We wouldn't have money for bills. And that went on for a couple years. Obviously it went in waves. I had times that I was really good with, going to work, having my job, doing all of that kind of stuff. And then it got to where I would miss a week of work, get drunk all week long. I would start drinking early in the day. It started really affecting my position at work. It started affecting my relationship with Sarah. It started just slowly feeling like I was losing control. Fast forward a little bit more when I met Colby, we had Colby. I was 27. And kind of up before that, I would have probably about a year and a half before Colby was born, so I was probably 25. I would have binges where I would drink so heavily that I would be completely inebriated for probably 72 to 96 hours where I didn't know anything that was going on. Sarah could have left and came back and I didn't know. I was so consumed by drinking that nothing mattered. I didn't care that I was losing Sarah. I didn't care that I was losing my job. I didn't care that I was losing friends. I didn't care that I was losing my health. Working out as a drunk is just so fucking hard. It just doesn't work. It sucked. I would go, hardcore at the gym and I'd be really good and I'd be really fit, and then I would drink for 2 weeks straight and I would lose everything. I'd become complacent. I would just drink to numb away whatever was missing inside. The feel of not being good enough, the fear of, am I worth living for? Am I even worth, taking up space on this earth? And then it got to the point where I would literally drink for 3 to 5 days on end without doing anything. I wouldn't go to work. I wouldn't talk to Sarah. I wouldn't eat. I wouldn't do anything. I would become sober enough, just enough to go drive to the store if I needed more alcohol. I'd probably spend $500 or $600 a month on alcohol at the height. I would blow money like, holy shit. I would do some crazy shit for some money. I would literally do anything and anything that I could to get my hands on it. If I didn't have it, or if I felt like I was getting low, I would create fights. I would create issues. I would create rifts with Sarah. I would create things and create reasons why I could escape and go drink. To me, that's all that mattered. I didn't care about Sarah. I didn't care about my family. I didn't care about my life. I didn't care about anyone. All what I cared about was the next drunk that I could get. When Colby was born, it was crazy because, and this will explain why I don't like dates. I hate knowing my sobriety date. I don't know when it is. I never have. I only know it's in this month because Sarah posts about it, but I don't know anything more than that. My son was born on my birthday 27 years later. Say what you want, whatever. I don't feel like him being born on my birthday was just a 1 in 365 chance. I don't. He was originally scheduled to be born on July 11th, which was funny because we were like, hey buddy, we're gonna tell this kid he was born on Slurpee Day and he's gonna get Slurpees the rest of his life for free, and he's gonna think he's the coolest kid until he's old enough to know that everybody gets one free. So that was the whole joke about the whole pregnancy with him. During Sarah's pregnancy with it, she couldn't drink with me, so that was really hard. That's when I really started to feel like I was losing her and myself, because I would just drink all the time by myself. There was no relatability with her anymore. She didn't want to drink. She was starting to become, in the role of being a mother. And I was over here being a piece of shit, drinking all the time. In a sense, I felt like because she was pregnant and because she was, we were going to add an additional person to our family, that I was going to be forgotten, or that I wasn't going to be good enough, or I wasn't gonna make her happy or be a good dad to this kid. And so the drinking just started to get worse and worse and worse. And there were so many times that I wished that I would just wake up and be dead. And it's hard to be feeling rejected all the time and not knowing what to do, not knowing, how I'm ever gonna get out of this shit. It sucks. But Colby came 3 weeks early. During this time I was sober when he was born. I think I was at a couple months that I had been sober. I had been in and out of AA. I had been in and out of doing things how I wanted to. I didn't do any type of treatment or recovery plan or anything like that. At this point, I was like, I've got this. I was a stubborn ass man that didn't want to have help or didn't want to admit fault and didn't want to admit that something was actually wrong. So Colby was born on my birthday. I know for a fact that he was born on my birthday to save my life. I don't want him to ever feel like, have that pressure that because of him is why I'm sober. But I think because of him, it woke me up. I made a vow to myself that day, because I was like, holy shit, he's gonna be born on my birthday. How fucking cool is that? What parent can say that? Maybe 1 in 100, maybe 1 in 75. I don't know what the odds are of that from happening, but it's not common. I know that. And it was the coolest thing in the world. And I promised myself, I'm never going to drink on his birthday, which was mine. I'm never going to forget about him. And I'm never going to let him see that his dad wasn't there for him on his birthday. I never wanted to be like my biological dad. Not there, not accepting, not, proud of my child. I never wanted my kids to feel that way. And I felt like the one thing that I could control was to not get drunk on my birthday or the day before or whatever. I wanted to be there for him every day. So since that day, I've never drank on my birthday. This year, in a week, tomorrow, will be 7 years that I haven't drank on my birthday. Which before I would drink every day, extra on my birthday, because I could, because it was normal then, right? After Colby was born, Sarah and I really struggled. I really struggled with sharing her attention with Colby. I felt like I was going back to where I felt that day with my biological dad, saying that, that I wasn't good enough or all these things because her attention was solely on this kid. I was so selfish and so one-tracked mind and so just didn't give a shit about anyone. I just cared about how much I felt loved and how much I wanted love from her, and that I wasn't feeling like that it was fair that she had to share it with him, even though he was my only son. So I began to drink more and more and more and more and more. There were times that I drank so much that I would miss a week of his life. There were times that Sarah would leave with him and go stay at her parents' house for a week, and I wouldn't see him. And then I would see him and I was like, holy shit, you're gigantic. Even though it only been a week, I don't remember any of it. I don't remember watching him do certain milestones. I don't remember the things that I wish that I remembered, or that I got to experience with my second, with Carter. He was born 4 years after Colby. He's just 3 now. But I would not see, milestones for him. I didn't feel like I had the connection that I should have with my son. I felt like a shitty husband. I just drank all the time. Any extra money we had, I would go buy alcohol. There was a point where Sarah was getting fed up with it. She was pretty much a single mom at this point. She was raising Colby by herself. I wasn't there with her. And even if I wasn't incapable of doing anything that mattered at any point. But, I would basically do everything I could to get alcohol. I would do things and make stupid decisions and totally just be a piece of shit. Everything I feared that I would do, I was doing. I felt like literally I was losing my wife and my child right in front of my eyes, and I didn't give a shit. I didn't care. I didn't do anything different. I just thought, this is how it's supposed to be. I didn't have enough self-worth to stop. I only was thinking about myself. And I regret every second of my life that I was like that with Colby. I miss him. I miss that stage of his life because I've seen it with Carter. I've been sober for Carter, and it's the coolest shit. Like, I love it. But I can't live like that. I can't live in the negative or what ifs. I have to live, look at me now, right? The turning point for me was I had drinking in about a month's time. I was drunk for like 4 days, and then I would sober up for like a day or two, and then try to make things work with Sarah, and then I would drink again for a week. And during these binges, guys, I need you to understand that, like, I didn't eat food at all. I literally drank nonstop. The shit you see, like, on TV, on, like, an addiction show, I lived that life. I would throw up and puke in the toilet. I would vomit, and I would turn and I would chug a bottle again, literally as I just stopped throwing up. Because I was getting so close to alcohol poisoning, my body was like, get this out of me, get this out of me. I would throw up and then look over, and I would drink again. Throw up, drink again. Until I didn't throw up it anymore. I would just keep drinking. I would lose 10 or 15 pounds every time I would binge because I wasn't eating anything of nutritional value. I literally was a wilting corpse with a heartbeat. There was no emotion. There was no anything inside. The person I am today versus that person, you guys would be like, holy shit, I don't even recognize who you are. I never want anyone to see that side of me again. I never want to see that side of me again because it scares me how much I get consumed and how hard all this has been. The last straw for Sarah was when I kept drinking. I would go and buy it, and I would hide it all around the house so she couldn't find it and throw it away, because if she did, she would find it, throw it away, or dump it out and throw it away and just be like, sorry. So I would find hiding places and all this stuff, whatever. But there got to the point where Sarah was just fed up with it, and she went and stayed with her parents. I think she was gone for 3 weeks. My parents, I don't think anybody knows that she was actually gone for that long. Sarah was moving on. Sarah was getting ready to file for divorce and filing to take my son away from me. I had a friend and a buddy come over that he does recovery stuff at my parents' house, and he came and he was like, bro, like, you gotta go to the hospital, like, right now. You gotta do this. So I agreed to go. I don't know why. I don't know what it was, why I agreed to it this time when every other time before that I didn't. But I did. I went to LDS Family Hospital in Salt Lake. I checked in. The doctor looked at me and he's like, how old are you? You know, I was 27 at the time. Or 27, I think. He's like, if you keep drinking the way you are, you're going to die in probably the next year, if not sooner. He's like, you're going to leave behind your wife and your kid. Kid's going to be without a dad. And I was like, holy fuck, that's me. You know, as a kid, like I had a dad. Don't tell me, like, I'm not saying that, but like the relationship with my biological dad was non-existent. I didn't want it. I didn't care. There was so much trauma and hurt from that whole side of my life that I didn't want to be a statistic. And that day, man, that hit me hard, you know? Having someone tell you, besides like your friends, hey man, if you do that, you're gonna die, versus a doctor that actually has some sort of credibility in your life says, hey, if you keep doing this, you're gonna be dead soon. My heart was seizing. I didn't know who I was. I couldn't think clearly. I was so far gone when I checked into detox that like I didn't think that I was gonna make it. Some of you may know, some of you may not know, but when it comes to alcoholism and becoming sober and getting it out of your system is actually like one of the most dangerous recoveries that you can do, because seizures are so high. The withdrawals from alcohol is so intense that they have to give you medication. I don't remember what the hell it was called, but I had to take a medication almost every single, like, multiple times a day to help keep me from seizing up and to going into a coma or having a heart attack or a stroke or something like that. And it sucked asshole. It sucked asshole. I was at LDS for 4 or 5 days, I think. My wife didn't even pick me up. My parents did. Sarah and I were so broken. Sarah and I were so far away from love, from everything. I had damaged her so bad and our relationship so bad that I never thought I would have her again. I never thought she would come back. So after I checked out of there, I went and lived with my parents for 2 weeks, 3 weeks. Actually, I think it was about a month that I lived with them, while Sarah's raising Colby all by herself, being this super mom, being this rock that she didn't sign up for, you know? And finding myself at my parents' house was really helpful. So I got out of the hospital, and then I immediately went and found a recovery place. I did an outpatient treatment, so I didn't actually stay at a place. I would go over there and then I would drive back to my parents' house. It was usually like 3 to 5 hours a day, 5 days a week that I would go. And I had to dig deep, man. I had to find out, like, why the fuck I drink. That is one of the hardest things I've ever had to do. Just face the demons, you know, face my biggest fault, admit my wrongs, and want to be better, you know, want to become better. I had this road in front of me that I was like, there's no way. I just want to die. I don't want to do this. I'm so broken. I've lost everything. My wife hates me. My kid doesn't know who I am. You know, and one of the things that was the hardest for me, which I got to back up just a tiny bit, but it's just one thing. The tipping point for Sarah was when Colby, because I would hide the bottles, right? Colby began to crawl and stuff, and he found one. Thank God he couldn't get it open, but he found one. For Sarah, that was like, fuck, I'm done. This is it. It's now affecting our children. What if he got into it and drank it and, you know, got alcohol poisoning? or died or whatever. Like, the scenario is endless, you know, what could have happened. And Sarah told me that story later on, you know, like I was like a couple months in, she told me, and I lost it. Like, it's crazy. It's crazy when you feel like you're in an addiction. You feel like it only affects you. You think that selfishly, thinking that, like, it's not affecting anyone. Yeah, this may hurt you, but it's only affecting me. And in this particular scenario, it affected my children, and my son almost drank it. And it was a wake-up call, like, holy shit, this could have been so much worse. Thank God it wasn't. But that was the reason why Sarah moved to her parents' house for the 3 weeks before I went and did all of that. So that was kind of the breaking point for her. So I went and did outpatient therapy 3 to 5 hours a day, 5 days a week for probably 7 months. I did fantastic. I did great. I was like, I'm doing awesome. Graduated, made it happen, got whatever it's called, terminated. It's not what it's called, but whatever that word is. I was like, I'm done. I've got this. This is it. Whatever. And I relapsed. And I drank again. It was one time. And it was the worst experience that I've had in my life. At that point, I was probably sober for like 5 or 7 months, I think. And I relapsed. And the amount of guilt, the hurt, the trust that was just gone, just like that, with my parents, with my wife, with my kid, with everything and everyone was gone, just like that. At the snap of a finger, everything that I had worked so hard to do was gone. It was ripped right out from underneath me. My credibility was shit. Sarah was like, cool, guess what? I'm gonna leave. This is it. I'm done. The hardest part about this whole journey is that she's had to remember all of it. I don't remember half of it. I don't remember the bad times. I don't remember certain scenarios or certain situations. Even to this day, I struggle with short-term memory stuff. Which is a huge thing from drinking. You know, a huge side effect from drinking at a young age is your short-term memory goes. I already feel that, and I'm 3 years old. But I don't remember how well, what happened, whatever, but that was my one and only time. I stopped. I decided that day that it's not for me. Something just clicked. Something just made sense to me that I needed to stop drinking. So I did. That was 2018. No. 2017 that happened. I think. Like I said, I don't remember a lot of the times because I was drunk all the time, guys. Like, I'm not doing that just because I don't remember. I legitimately do not remember. But so I cold turkeyed. I stopped drinking. Sorry, guys, I got cut off there for a second. So to this day, like, I don't even remember a lot of it. Sarah does. And she's like, it terrifies me. I never want to see you that way again. So, fast forward to today. This month is 5 years. I never thought I would be here. But I really think that it's been a blessing in disguise, in a sense of, from what I do every day, people, battle hard things. People struggle with food. People struggle with addiction. People struggle with, snacks and treats and eating and not, doing something unhealthy, just like I was. Not as dramatic per se as alcohol, but it affects them. So I think it definitely helps me in my job now. But I mean, I've been caffeine free for 3 years. I had to stop drinking caffeine. The reason for that is because, so when you drink alcohol, it affects your stroke volume and how much blood your heart can pump out. right? So when you are normal, say this is a normal heartbeat for someone. See, I'm completely clasping my hand shut. When you drink, your beats get a little less intense. So see how I'm not going fully anymore? It's not a full contraction, full expansion, full in, full out type of pump. So what actually happens is when you drink a lot, that pump gets a lot less. The strength of your heart gets a lot less. You throw in caffeine in there. What does caffeine do? It speeds up your heart and raises your blood pressure. So then your body needs to pump more like this. But if it's not going more like this, like when you're, say, being a healthy guy doing cardio, for example, your heart would beat like this. When you're not a healthy person and you're doing things you shouldn't be doing, and you have a weaker heart like I did, my heart was beating like this. So I wasn't actually getting a lot of blood flow. I wasn't getting a lot of things. And so I was starting to become very sick and very ill. My heart was starting to become like I was having a heart attack at 28 years old. Went to the doctor. I was probably about 2 years alcohol free at this point. I went to the doctor. The doctor was like, yo man, you take steroids? No, shit, I should be way more jacked, man. If I take steroids, I should be a lot bigger than I am right now, and I'm not. And he's like, all right, cool. So do you drink, energy drinks? Yes. You drink pre-workouts? Yes. He's like, you got to stop right now. That will be what kills you because your heart can't take it. So then we went back into history, and I was alcoholic and all those types of things. And he goes, even more because you are an alcoholic and you drank for so many years consistently and so bingeful that your heart has such a weak pump that if you continue to drink alcohol, you will die soon. And so I stopped. I'm like, shit, I already stopped drinking alcohol. What the hell's caffeine? Caffeine. I can do that. So I did. The saddest part about all of this is when I tell people, oh, you don't drink caffeine? Oh, why? That's dumb. Are you LDS? Are you Mormon? There's no sensitivity with people. What if I said, no, I'm gonna fucking die if I drink caffeine? How would that make you feel? Would you feel stupid? Would you feel bad? And they would probably say, oh, I'm just joking, man. Like, don't even be like that. But I get it all the time. I get, oh, you don't drink? Oh, you're Mormon? Oh, you're not Mormon? Oh, you must be an alcoholic. How did you know? I don't even know your name, and you already know that about me. Good for you. The insensitivity about it all is the most hurtful. Sometimes you don't know what people go through or what they're struggling with. And when you say things like that, it hurts. It makes us feel like something's wrong with us. Which, yeah, we're alcoholics. We already know that. I don't need to be reminded every day by random ass people that I'm an alcoholic. I already know that. I have to wake up every single day and choose not to drink caffeine and alcohol. The two most well-known, socially acceptable things that people do on a daily basis that I see every single day when I walk into a restaurant, a store, a grocery store, a baseball game, a sporting event. It's in my face. It's hard. It's hard. But I wouldn't change it for a thing. Because guess what? I'm here right now because I chose to say no. Because I chose to say no and to stop doing those things just because I wanted to live a longer time. I wanted to watch my kids graduate. I want to watch them get married. I want to grow old with Sarah. I want to help as many people as I can tell my story and help them in their fitness journey, in their health, in the way to love themselves again like I had to do for myself. It's the hardest thing that I've ever done, but I wouldn't trade it for a thing, right? I wouldn't. I wouldn't trade my life for anything. I love what I've learned. I love the person that I've become, and I love the dad and the husband that I've strived to be every single day. I just wish people were more sensitive to those things, But I can't control how people's reactions. I can't control how you respond. I can't control what people think of me. Enough with your crying, I'm sorry. This is a very hard thing for me to talk about. This is the only time I've ever done this. I'm very careful who I tell because I feel like people look at me as an example of what to do in life and to be successful. But I want you to know that it wasn't always that way. It's never been that easy. But the last 5 years of my life have been the best 5 years of my life. I have the best relationship with my wife. My kids are flourishing. I started my business. I built a home. We're on pace to just have the best life if we continue to build and continue to be honest and grow and be true to ourselves. That five years ago, I was like, there's no way. There's no way. I'm never going to be worth something. I have a long way to go, but I'm proud of what I've done. And I'm thankful for every single person that has reached out, that has said something, comments, rooting for me, understanding, hearing me, not judging me, and just being a good friend. Thank you. I couldn't have done it without you. And especially thanks to my wife. She didn't have to do this shit. She didn't sign up for this. But she never gave up on me. Recovery is the hardest thing that I've ever had to face in my life. But I feel like Sarah as well deserves just as much credit as I did. Because the crappy part is she knows what's happened and what was said and what was, done. She's the only person in this world that actually truly knows how bad it was. No one else does, and I don't remember. She's the true hero in all of this. She's the true gift of God for me. And I'm so thankful I found her when I did. I mean, dang, we're coming up on where we've almost been together longer than we haven't been. She's the greatest blessing in my life. I adore her. I love her so very much. It's insane. I never thought I could love someone. I didn't know what love was until I met her. And now being able to watch Carter grow and see things that I never got to see with Colby is crazy. And you know what the coolest part is that I get to wake up every day and not feel like shit. I get to wake up every day not saying, what happened last night? Did I say something? Did I do something? I don't have to worry about that because I know. And that's why I want to give back. That's why I want to grow the business and train people and let them know, hey, I may not struggle with the same things you struggle with, but I have my own that I struggle with. We're not too far away from each other, but we can do this. We can do hard things. As humans, we're amazing when we put our mind to what we want. I love helping people. I love watching people overcome things because I know how fucking hard it is. I do. But I can also tell you that it is the greatest, hands down, best thing that I ever did for myself was I was selfish. I had to be. I had to be selfish so I could give back to my wife, my family, my clients, my children, everyone. And you can do it too, whatever that might be. It might be something of substance. It might be something mental. It might be whatever it might be. You can overcome it if you try hard enough. And yeah, you're going to have to do it every day. I do, and so can you. But no, you're not alone. There's always someone watching you. There's always someone rooting for you. you gotta be your biggest fan first. So, sorry I got quite emotional there. This is a really hard topic for me to talk about. I'm sure there'll be questions that will arise with this video, so if you have any, please drop them in the comments. Like the video, please. If you feel someone could benefit from this, share it. I think it's time that I don't hide behind it anymore or be ashamed of it or feel like I'm a weaker person because I'm an alcoholic. Because fuck it. Addiction recovery of any sort is not for the weak. The strongest people I know are the ones that have to fight demons every single day. And I'm rooting for you. I am. If I can do it, sure shit, you can do it. Just believe in yourself, take it day by day, and fight. Fight for what you feel is right. Fight for what you want in your life forever. And I assure you that it will be the greatest blessing you give yourself in your entire life. Thanks, guys. I appreciate it. Like I said, drop any comments if you have any or questions, and I'd be happy to answer them. Thanks for listening. I love you all. Stay safe. Stay true. Keep fighting. Bye, guys.